He's one of the dopest engineers in the game. The head engineer exclusively for Prodigy of Mobb Deep. 10 Prodigy of Mobb Deep albums. The Hegelian Dialectic. The Book of Revelation.
It's a pleasure, man. That body of work is crazy. I mean,
Joe the engineer. Now we do this shit, nigga.
333. That's a sign from the heavens. Just look up in the heavens.
What the fuck is up, everybody? It is time to talk about some football because yesterday was P Day and we celebrated P instead of doing Gray Matter. Probably going to end up doing this one solo. I don't know if I will be joined by any of my co-hosts. Go. I am not sure. I know we had contemplated on taking an off week, but so much shit has happened in the NFL this week and today that gotta cover it. We can skip all the games and talk about all the nonsense that happened, and that would take up a whole episode because a lot of shit to unpackage in the NFL this week. Now, I'm hoping I might have a co-host. I don't know. Midget Mike, what up, homie? I don't know if you got a chance to catch the P-Day celebration last night. It was fucking dope. Shout out to the community. Shout out to everybody in the 333 that donated to the foundation. About to make somebody's at least day a whole lot better. I don't know if it's going to change their life. I doubt it seriously will. I seriously doubt it will. Wow. So eloquent right now. So, thinking I'm going to be flying solo tonight, so I might as well just get cracking. I would like Flea to pop in. He is Gray Matter's biggest fan, that's for sure. Well, today I typically would talk about football with my homies, but what I will do until I get somebody to talk to about football, what I usually do during this time is I play beats that I've been working on just to see how they are received by you guys. Vegas, what up, homie? So, yeah, let me just play some beats while I get high. Nah, man, I only watch football. I don't even watch basketball anymore. God, look at my eyes. I am still recovering from last night's P-Day celebration. 9 blunts in 3 hours and 33 minutes is no joke. I don't care who you are. Yeah, Vegas, I can't. That's why I had to do a show tonight. I have to talk about all the things that have gone on in the NFL this week. So, yeah, let me get hot because I just ate. And let me see if I can get a co-host on. Hey, yeah, Bishop Mike, send that check. I got you, homie. Yeah, me and Billy Lon's been up to something. We've been up to a couple things. Actually, we were just talking to Billy Lods earlier today about a couple things we've been up to. It's time to take him across the finish line. I know that much. Alright. I like this joint too.
All greatness, the majority of greatness in itself doesn't come with goodness. The two don't coexist with one another. And all great men are not good men.
Test your power. Test your power. Test your power.
Test your power. Yeah, I told you, man, Half's making a ton of music right now. Doing a entire EP series with Nice. He just did a whole project with Dark Low. He's doing something with Meth. Hab's doing a lot of shit right now, homie. Alright, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna play this beat. I'll be right back. It doesn't look like I'm going to get a co-host for the night. I think I'm just going to keep playing beats. Hey man, looking back on this journey, me and Billy Lines started in January. This idea. And it started with the first beat battle. January's beat battle, there was like 30 producers in there, and Billy Lines dominated everybody. Has basically dominated everybody this entire year. Shout out to Zoltan and Andrew for getting some victories in there. I know it ain't easy. But, yo, Vegas, you remember this one? It's crazy that this is from January.
I have made a significant find in the Kandarian rune, a volume of ancient Sumerian burial practices and funerary incantation. It is entitled Naturon de Manto, translated Book of the Dead. Find in the Kandarian rune, a volume of ancient Sumerian burial practices and funerary incantation. It is entitled Naturon de Manto, translated Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead.
No matter what the people say.
Book of the Dead.
Well, I think it's time for me to roll the fuck up. Let me play another beat while I roll up. And then I'm just going to do this shit solo. Fuck it. Alright, it is 3:33 somewhere, and it's time to talk about some motherfucking football. I'm doing this show solo, and, whatever. I do every show solo. The Gray Matter gang has been whittled down to myself. Come back, nice. The Jets just won. Come back, homie. Alright, so ridiculously huge stories in the NFL this week. It's the only reason I'm doing this show, and I'm willing to do it solo. Like, retarded things. I know you're not supposed to use that word. I don't give a fuck. So, where do I even start? So many things that happened this week. I can't. It's like the actual product on the field is like the fourth or fifth thing that you're going to even talk about this week. So, to start off, the biggest news in the motherfucking NFL is the Broncos trading Von Miller to the motherfucking Rams. The Rams already have the best defense in football, and now they just added a Hall of Famer. This now just became not fair. It's not fair now. If they stay healthy, they're winning the Super Bowl. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You already have the best defense in football, and now you just added a Hall of Fame defensive end. So, Aaron Donald eats up 2 and 3 linemen by himself on every single play. So that means that Von Miller is going to get a lot of one-on-one situations, and he's going to destroy quarterbacks. Now, that also means on the opposite side, Leonard Floyd, who already has 6.5 sacks this season, I think, in 8 games, is about to just go off because he's literally only going to have one-on-one situations because he's the least of all evils across that defensive line. Now, the Rams traded away a second and a third-round pick next season. So in next year's draft, I believe they have a 6th and a 7th, and that's it. And they don't have a first-round draft pick for the next 7 years. So clearly, the Rams are all in on winning Super Bowls right now. And what are you going to do? Just wait until Tom Brady finally decides to quit? He might play until he's 50. So they are all in right now. Impressive. And they're going to be fucking hard to beat. Like, really fucking hard. Matthew Stafford's probably going to end up winning an MVP. Cooper Kupp is going to break records this year. Like, they are fucking moving. So, massive NFL headline number 2. Aaron Rodgers tests positive with the Roni today. He is out at a minimum for 10 days because he is unvaccinated. That's at least 1 week. After his 10-day quarantine, he has to be able to test negative 2 consecutive times. So say that he doesn't pass the test in time, he might miss 2 weeks. Now, why is this so significant? A, it's fucking Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Adianism. Aaron Rodgers told the NFL in Green Bay that he was vaccinated. He didn't say vaccinated. He said inoculated. Aaron Rodgers is very smart. So, he claims he's inoculated, which means he probably caught the Roni already and has antibodies and whatnot. Or he did something. He tried to lobby to the NFL that these homeopathic things that he was doing was equivalent to a vaccine, therefore he should be counted as vaccinated. And they said, I don't care if you're Aaron Rodgers, bruh. Nah. So, this is a huge power shift because he's out against the Chiefs, who are struggling now. If Aaron Rodgers played against the Chiefs were going to end up probably at 4-5. And that's a little bit too big of a hole to start digging out of. You're over halfway past the season and you have a losing record. Now the Chiefs are going to probably be able to sneak a victory that they probably wouldn't have gotten and maybe make themselves a little bit more relevant in the NFL playoff picture. I don't know what's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers now since he lied to the NFL. Well, according to them, he lied. According to him, he used proper terminology. So, interesting because this is the reigning MVP. This is the reigning best player in football. And now he is going to be the face of the NFL's Roni fight and whatnot. So 3 of his wide receivers and a defensive coach tested positive for the Roni and missed last week's game. Now he's tested positive for the Roni. This is not going to be the last Green Bay Packer that tests positive for the Roni. I can absolutely guarantee you that. So we will start to see the Roni play its hand. You might as well count in his injuries. We are now going to see the Roni play in its hand back into the NFL. So, Green Bay 7-1. They currently have the best record in the NFL, so this isn't really going to hurt them, and their division sucks. Sucks. It's the Lions, Vikings, and Bears. All 3 of those teams are terrible. So, they're going to be in the playoffs without question. This is not going to hurt their season outlook. It might hurt them for the next couple weeks, though. We will finally get to see what Jordan Love is all about because they drafted him last year as the eventual replacement for Aaron Rodgers. So we will see. We will see what he's capable of. So, third story that is mega huge in the NFL. Henry Ruggs III just killed somebody. Apparently at 3-something in the morning, Henry Ruggs III crashed his Corvette into the back end of a Toyota RAV4. And the person did not survive. There was a fire, and he did test for impairments, for being impaired. So, not good. Then more details come out. He blew a .16, which is twice the legal limit, which means he was smashed. Why do these wealthy athletes choose to drive is beyond me. Yeah, Larry, I'm getting to that third aspect of it. This motherfucker was going 156 miles an hour. The data from the car had him at 124, I think. Something over 120 miles an hour when the airbags deployed. So, how he survived that is beyond me. Probably because he was drunk, and drunk people always fucking survive. Yeah, Vegas, and everybody who from that area and whatnot all said that they actually don't even understand how he was going that fast, where he was going that fast at. So, the Raiders immediately released him. That's a breach of contract. That's with cause. Or without cause. They have no financial or legal implications for that whatsoever. But he is sure going to have some fucking legal ramifications. So he's already being charged with driving while impaired, resulting in a homicide. Or in a manslaughter. Not homicide, manslaughter. So, homie's going to see a couple years in jail. Yeah, that car blew up, basically. So, what I don't understand, you're rich. You're fucking rich. Everybody I know in New York takes Ubers and Lyfts. And they're not rich. They're normal fucking people. Why do you find it necessary to drive yourself when you have that much money. Especially at 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing you were out partying and whatnot because it's Halloween weekend. Like, young and dumb and rich, and nobody could tell him shit. And now his career is over and he's going to end up in jail. And it wasn't like he's Michael Vick status to where it's like, oh man, he might do a couple years and then come back out and be able to restart his career. This is your second year in the league, homie. You just started getting going. They will not put up with this. And the way that the world of the NFL is now, especially after the whole Ray Rice incident and how that was handled, they ain't playing no games now. You're getting suspended. You will not play. They don't give a fuck. Deshaun Watson hasn't seen the field this year yet, and he has not been guilty of anything. Yeah, this was so preventable and tragic because somebody lost their life, and now that person's family will never be the same. And then his life and his family's life will never be the same now. So stupid, man. Lyft and Ubers, like, come on. Call somebody. You're in the NFL. They literally have people on staff for each team for shit just like this. You don't even have to call like one of your coaches and be like, yo, I'm trashed right now. I don't want to drive home. Can somebody come get me? Somebody send a cab for me. They have the team guy, like security, like their head of security. Like they have guys that will come do this. Like there's problematic players in the NFL that have guys assigned to them that just follow them around and do all their shit for them to keep them out of trouble and make sure they stay on the field. So this is preventable at every single opportunity. And every single opportunity to prevent this was ignored. Can you imagine the shift in those two people's universes at like 2:50? He just got done partying. He's drunk. Probably got a girl with him. Who knows? Young. Successful. Playing in the NFL. You're a rock star. Who knows this person's story? But I'm sure that they didn't assume that they were going to be rear-ended to the point their car exploded and they died in a car fire. But at 3 o'clock, everything changed. At 156 down a residential street. If somebody drives 40 down a residential street, it looks like they're flying. Because you're just like, oh, there's fucking people and kids here. Like, calm down. That's why they got speed bumps and stop signs and shit on those. But 156. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. There have been players that have done things like this in the past, and Leonard Floyd killed somebody in a DUI and he still played football, but this is different. This is different. This is a whole different scenario. Whole different scenario. So, alright, let's get to the football. Let's get to the football. So, you know what? I should have known that this was going to be a bizarro week in the NFL because it was Halloween. And boy, was this shit wild. So, Thursday night, Packers go up against an undefeated Cardinals team in Arizona without Devontae Adams, without Adam Lazard, without a third wide receiver that I can't remember because I smoked too much last night, and without their defensive coordinator. And some fucking how, the Packers come away with a victory. Should have known it was going to be a weird week after that game. I don't think anybody assumed that the Packers were going to be able to win with it. Their JV receiving core in. That's more on the Cardinals for fucking losing that one. And that's why I never trusted Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, is because they lose games like this. They weren't supposed to lose that goddamn game. You don't lose that game, and they did. I should have known it was going to be a stupid week. That's the theme of this week's games. I should have known. Joe should have known. So, Patriots fan and Justin Herbert guy here. Awesome that I get to watch the Patriots and the Chargers play. I should have known that Bill Belichick destroyed the Chargers last year, 44-0. And they have an infinitely better team this year. I should have fucking known. Shout out to the Patriots, though, because I am a Patriots fan, traveling to the West Coast and getting a win against a quality football team that we don't actually know how quality they are, because they've beaten some good teams, but then they've lost 2 weeks in a row, and they have not looked good. It is only week 8. Long season to go. It's better to hit the skids, mid-season and get things rolling towards the end of the season when the playoffs are coming around than it is to have your little hiccups that happen in like week 17 or the first week of the playoffs, because there's no do-over. It's one game, one and done in the NFL, which is what makes it so much fun. Because anything can fucking happen. That's why they always call it any given Sunday. Game number 3 that makes no motherfucking sense. Somehow the Falcons in Atlanta find a way to lose to the Panthers, who are playing like the worst team in football. What the fuck is going on this week, yo? So, I didn't know that Calvin Ridley, the Falcons' best wide receiver, has taken a break from football for mental health issues. Knowing that Matt Ryan is such a I'm going to throw it to my guys type of quarterback, when I saw that Calvin Ridley was not playing, I should have known after that, fuck, they're going to lose this game, because Matt Ryan knows how to lose football games, especially the teams he's not supposed to lose to. I should have fucking known. Missed that one too. Starting out great. We're 0-3 on the week. Awesome. Prognostication at its best. Bills Dolphins. This was the easy one. The Bills went in. They should have blown them out. 26-11. They actually covered. I think the spread was 14. It probably went up to 15.5 because they only won by 15. And I am absolutely convinced that the Vegas sports books odds makers are time travelers. Or the reason that Back to the Future, the second one, that they put in, that Marty went and took a sports almanac from the future and Biff did actually, and went back into the past and became rich off of sports betting, because you knew the outcome of every fucking game and race possible. I think that shit probably happened because they like to put the shit in movies and tell you what happens. Where else did they get that idea at? It probably fucking happened. How does Vegas always know the exact spread and beat you by 0.5 point? It never fails. I bet you the spread on that one was 15.5 because they only won by 15. 49ers and Bears. This is another easy one to pick, actually, because the Bears fucking suck. Easy. And the 49ers actually win when Jimmy G starts. And Jimmy G started and the 49ers won. So, pretty easy correlation between the two. But the Bears are trash. They are absolute fucking trash. Steelers over the Browns. This was actually a really easy game because the Browns, Kareem Hunt's still out. Linemen are still banged up, and Baker Mayfield's playing with half a body right now. So the Browns just can't put up points. Now, an interesting thing happened at Browns practice today. Odell Beckham Jr. showed up for practice, and the coaches sent him home. That's never good. That means they're about to cut you. It is what it is. Like, this is a professional business. He should read the writing on the wall and know that he's about to lose his damn job. So if they release him and somebody else picks him up, then that other team is on the hook for his salary, which is around $8 million for the rest of this year and like 13 next year. Now, I don't know if there's a playoff caliber team. Nah, see, Adianism, Tampa Bay has too many people. They already can't play everybody all at once. There's way too many weapons. Green Bay seems perfect. Because you already had Devontae Adams, so teams have to double him. So Odell can work one-on-one, and Aaron Rodgers is literally like the most accurate quarterback ever. So, and Odell's catch radius is retarded. Like one hand as far as his arm can reach. So the Green Bay thing would make sense, but Green Bay doesn't like to spend money, so they're not going to do it. Other than that, maybe Pittsburgh, but I don't think Pittsburgh would want him there. They already have Claypool and Deontay Johnson, but with Juju being hurt, I don't know. And the Browns aren't going to let him go to Pittsburgh. But if they release him, then they don't have any say in it. So it would be interesting. This is a supremely physically talented individual that's career has been completely derailed because of injuries and then actual on-field scenarios. This isn't even off-field scenarios. It's just on-field scenarios. All right, next game. The Lions are terrible. They're the worst team in football. You know, maybe the Raiders will take them now that Ruggs is gone. That might fit. I don't know if Odell in Vegas would be a good idea, though. So, the Eagles were up 44-0 on the Lions. And most of us actually picked the Lions to win this because they've been playing competitive all season. And the Eagles just aren't very good. But the Lions are fucking terrible. They're terrible. Game of the week. And it ended up being the game of the week because they ended up in overtime. And the Titans just find a way to keep winning when they're down by double digits in the fourth quarter. Now, my fantasy season is over because Derrick Henry's now out for the rest of the year, essentially, with a broken fifth metatarsal. Yeah, that's the foot. So he's out. They've won the last 2 weeks with him going for less than 100 yards because I've been getting smacked in fantasy because of his lack of output. So it's a good football team. This is a good football team, and since they beat the Colts, who are in their division, that's a 2-game separation on them now. So they're 6-2 and the Colts are 3-5. That's 4 games essentially. 3.5 games. It's going to be tough for the Colts to catch up to the Titans even with Derrick Henry out. Now, they did add Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson is not Adrian Peterson of 2013. This is 2021. But we called it. It made the most sense whenever Henry got hurt last week. I said to call Adrian Peterson. He's the same type of running back. He's going to try to run through you, so it made sense. We called it again. It's been nice we've been able to call some of these motherfucking games. Yo, so the worst game this week, how in the fuck did the Jets beat the Bengals? Like, the Bengals are like one of the best teams in football, literally. And they just lost to one of the worst teams in football, and they could not stop this backup quarterback. Mike White comes in and throws for 405 fucking yards. 405. The Bengals just shut down Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert in back-to-back weeks. And Mike White gave them that fucking business. Now, I've been mulling it over my head what Mike White's nickname should actually be because they're calling him White Lightning. Colton came up with Mike White privilege, which is fucking hilarious. I think it's way funnier to say Mike White power, but you can't say that. You can't. It's completely unacceptable. There's no context in which that is acceptable, even if it's his last name. And I want to call him Mike White privilege, but he put out a tweet when he was in high school or something that said he loves nothing more than beating rich, privileged white kids on the football field. And he's white. But if that's how he feels, then he don't get to experience Mike White privilege. So I don't know what to call him. We will see if he can do it 2 weeks in a row. And if he does, I think Zach Wilson just lost his fucking job. Now, if they keep on winning, though, you gotta let him play. Flea, what up, homie? You gotta let him play. It was another bizarro game. I don't think anybody on the planet picked the Jets over the Bengals. There was some guy who won $125,000 because Mike White led the league in passing. It was a 1 to 125, or 125 to 1 odds, and he put a stack on it and ended up with $125,000, which is fucking, good for that dude. But who's got such a gambling problem that they throw up a stack on Mike White leading the league in passing? Who does that? You got a gambling problem, homie. All right, Rams over Texans. Do we even have to talk about this game? The Rams somehow just got better. Fucking Von Miller. The Texans are terrible. This was like the best team in football and the worst team in football playing each other. The Texans did put up 22 points in the fourth, but I mean, they were up 38-0 already. I don't think they were trying anymore. I think they look at him and said, yo, let's let them see if they can score 40 points in one quarter. This will be fun. Another game that I missed. Somehow the Jags just didn't show up. I know James Robinson got hurt, which is not a good thing. Especially for my fantasy team because he's my second running back. But Geno Smith went in there and got busy. It's as soon as Geno started to play, I mean, I already had DK Metcalf on my fantasy team. But it was like, Geno's not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson will throw it to whoever's open. And his go-to guy is actually Tyler Lockett. Geno Smith is not that type of quarterback. Geno Smith's going to be like, I got that guy. I'm going to just throw it to him. Look at him. He's bigger, faster, stronger than everybody. I'm just going to throw it to him. And that was like an easy prediction. He's played well these past 2 weeks. They did play what is the bottom third of football. It's like the Jags, Jets, and Lions are the worst teams in football. The Lions are so bad. But Russell Wilson already had the pin removed from his hand. I don't know. This guy is like touchdown Jesus. How do you heal that quickly? He had to have talked to Adrian Peterson to ask him how the fuck he came back from 3 torn ligaments in one knee on Christmas Day and started opening week and then also ran for 2,000 yards when the entire world knew you were getting the ball every single play and they still couldn't stop you. I think Russell Wilson drank some of that same water that Adrian Peterson was drinking. But I think it might be too late. The Seahawks have an awful way up to look right now, and we're essentially halfway through the season. So we know who is who, and we know what is possible. And I don't think it's possible for the Seahawks to make the playoffs. So this could be the end of the Seattle Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll run. And as I said a couple weeks ago, if that happens, the Giants should do everything they can to land Russell Wilson, because he wants to be in a major market and Sierra wants to be in a major market. It was, LA, Chicago, New York are like the only options. Houston and Phoenix are the next biggest cities, and those aren't big enough for their ambitions, his and hers. Broncos over the Washington Red Wolves. Easy game to pick. It was in Denver, and it's hard to play in Denver because of the... Russell Wilson doesn't need an O-line. It's hard to play in Denver because of the elevation. So this is probably Tyler Heineke's first time there, and this is easy. It's just too hard unless you've been there and kind of know how to do it and prepare yourself through the week for playing in that altitude. It's too difficult if you've never done it, and Washington's not a very good football team. The Broncos at 4-4 are way better in their record than they actually are. They've just beat their 4 wins. I think the 4 teams that they beat have a combined record of, or a combined win total of 4 games. Washington has 2, the Jags have 1, Houston has 1, and the Lions have none. So, yeah, they beat the 4 worst teams in football. So that now makes them the 5th worst team in football. They were 4th last week. They're moving on up. Bizarro game number 76 of this week. The Saints lose Jameis Winston and somehow beat the fucking Bucs. All right, the Bucs offense is not the issue because the Saints have one of the best defenses in football, and the Bucs still put up 27. The fact that the Bucs cannot stop anyone right now. I know their entire secondary is injured, but come on, bruh. Trevor Siemian came in off the bench. And put it on that defense. They're great against the run. They're not getting any pressure, and they have no secondary. So teams are taking advantage too, because the Saints don't have anybody at receiver. Kevin White caught a pass in this game. I know that doesn't mean anything to those of you who don't know anything about football. Kevin White, this has got to be his 5th, 6th, or 7th year in the league, and this might be his first catch. His entire career has been just injuries. The Saints receiving corps is dealing with so many injuries that Kevin White got another shot. Had a 38-yard catch of the game. Hilarious. Shout out to Kevin White. Perseverance, homie. WVU product. I love it. Cowboys over the Vikings. Cooper Rush gets a start and gets busy. The Vikings suck. They're going to stay perpetually one game below 500. That's just what Kirk Cousins does, and right now they're 3-4. No big surprise. Well, Flea, nobody understood how to actually use Tavon Austin in the NFL. Now the NFL offenses are all kind of like that, but it's too late for him. He's been in the league too long. He's not as fast as he was. Yet They just don't know what to do. They didn't know how to use Tavon. Kevin White, it was just injuries. Just injuries. That whole receiving core from WVU that made it to the NFL, it's been problems. I just now thought of this. So, Chris Henry's a first-round draft pick. Gets killed in a freak accident when his girlfriend they get into an argument. She jumps in his truck and takes off. He jumps in the bed of it, and falls out while she's driving away and hits his head and dies. Tavon Austin, complete flame out in the league because nobody could figure out how to use him. Stedman Bailey gets shot after having a very solid NFL rookie campaign. Ends up getting shot and has never played football again. And then now we got Kevin White, who cannot stay on the field in the NFL. It literally has never even made it onto the field. It's just been injuries. So, not good to be a WVU wide receiver in the NFL, apparently. RIP to Chris Henry. That shit was crazy. Because Chris Henry was getting busy in the NFL for the Bengals. He was getting busy. So, the Cowboys with a backup quarterback beat a Vikings team that's not terrible, it's just Kirk Cousins is very good. So, the Cowboys are for real. Now, are they going to be able to fuck with the Rams now that the Rams have added Von Miller? No. I don't think anybody's going to beat them now. It would take a catastrophic injury to, like, Matthew Stafford, and I don't even want to throw that into the universe because he played with a broken back, so there's not going to be an injury that's going to keep him off the field. Monday Night Football, the Chiefs barely beat the Giants. The Giants actually were one offsides penalty away from winning that game because they actually picked Pat Mahomes off late in the fourth quarter that would have sealed the game because it was in Chiefs territory. The Giants could have just kicked a field goal and won the game. But there was an offsides. And you can't give professional athletes a second chance. They don't make the same mistake twice. That's especially Patrick Mahomes. He's a $500 million quarterback. So the Giants are terrible. The Chiefs aren't any good either. You know, they've only beat bad teams and they've lost against good teams. So we'll see if they can switch up their philosophy because they did run the ball a lot. It's just the down the field, vertical, explosive plays aren't happening because teams are saying to them, we're going to play 20 yards off the ball, too high safety, corners are dropping into zones. Probably a nickel and a dime on there also. So you're either going to have to run the ball on us or you're going to have to take short passes and just dink and dunk on us. And right now, NFL defenses are dictating what the Chiefs offense is going to do instead of the Chiefs offense dictating what the defense is going to have to react to what they're doing. And it's been odd because they've already won a Super Bowl. They just went to another one and lost. But it has been a fast decline since then. Teams have figured out how to play them. Like the Bucs showed them, like everybody, you can beat these guys. And now everybody's just beating them. They're like Roy Jones Jr. was because nobody could touch Roy Jones. And then somebody punched him in his face and knocked him out. And then everyone started knocking him out because no one had ever even tried to hit him before. Because you couldn't hit him. So people didn't try. Well, one day somebody said, fuck that shit. And they came straight forward and just knocked him out. Yo, idiot, is the problem with the Giants draft picks is there's not any franchise level quarterbacks in this year's NFL draft. There's no quarterback in college that you're just like, wait until this guy gets into the league. There's no Justin Herberts. There's no Kyler Murrays. Not even Baker Mayfield level quarterbacks. So there's nobody that they're going to be able to get through the draft that's going to change the course of that franchise. So they're going to have to... They got to go after Russell Wilson. He's perfect for the Giants. He's perfect for them. He's such a clean-cut model franchise quarterback. The Giants are run like that. It's an old-school organization with the Mara families. It's perfect. They have to go after him. There's no other quarterback that they're going to be able to go after. Even if Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, Aaron's not going to go to the Giants. They suck. He's going to go to, like, Pittsburgh when Ben Roethlisberger retires, because then he can, like, win Super Bowls still, or at least compete. And he'll get to go play in the AFC, which he's never got to do. So I can see that happening. Denver's just not good enough for him to go there now. The Pittsburgh thing makes sense. He says he loves the city. He loves Tomlin. It makes sense, and it's fucking Aaron Rodgers. They'd probably make Ben Roethlisberger retire. Flea, I know they would give him a lifetime subscription to Brazzers. Be like, yo, homie, go ahead and go home and just go ahead and beat, Ben. Beat for the rest of your life. We got Aaron Rodgers now. We don't need you anymore, homie. The city of Pittsburgh would pay for his Brazzers subscription if they could get Aaron Rodgers. All right, so let's look ahead to next week. Before we do that, let's look at the standings. So Buffalo's no longer running away with the AFC East. The Patriots, while still being 2 games behind, a game and a half behind, the Patriots inexplicably 1-4 at home. The Pats are positioning themselves for a wild card run, and that bodes well for Mac Jones and the future of the Patriots. So let's fucking go. The Jets and Dolphins both suck. Who cares? AFC North with Cleveland hitting the injury bug. They're now the 4th team in that division. So there's going to be at least one team in that division that's not going to make the playoffs. The other 2 could possibly get a wild card. It really depends on how much they beat each other up over the second half of the season. We shall see. At least one of them is going to get it, though. AFC South, the Titans have a firm grip on this. The Colts really fucking fumbled the ball in their opportunity to make some headway in that division. They're 3-5. They could still possibly make a run. It doesn't look too good for them. That 1-4 start was too much. Too much. And then after you start 1-4, you can't afford to lose games like they just did, even though it was an overtime loss against a division leader and one of the best teams in football. You can't afford any losses at all when you start out 1-4 in the same division with a team that's already got 6 victories. So you just can't do that. The Jags and Texans both are trash. The Raiders, shout out to the Raiders leading the AFC West. The Chargers have lost 2 in a row and taken a huge step backwards. The Broncos and Chiefs both have the same record, and they both suck. All right, NFC, the Cowboys are running away with that division. It does not matter. NFC North, Green Bay is running away with that one. It does not matter. NFC South, the Bucs and Saints are going to be going at it for that one. So the Saints have become Tom Brady's new Miami. Tom Brady, for some reason, lost in Miami every fucking time they played him, no matter how good they were and how bad the Dolphins were. They still lost in Miami. It's like he went down there, and him and Gronk and Edelman and everybody just partied on the beach. Giselle brought out all the models, and they just mailed in that game. And now I think New Orleans is the new Miami because he cannot beat the Saints. They played with a fucking backup quarterback, and he couldn't beat them. I think he goes down to Bourbon Street and gets busy. And they lost. Carolina Panthers, 4-4, doesn't matter. They don't know what they have at quarterback. Sam Darnold's not the answer. They're not going to make the playoffs. Falcons, trash. Fuck you, Falcons. So the Cardinals and Rams are both atop the NFC West at 7-1. the Rams just added Von Miller. So it's now their Super Bowl to lose. Literally. Super Bowl or bust. There's no other options. All right, so look ahead to next week. Thursday Night Football. Mike White privilege is going to Indy. The football person in me wants to pick Indy because they're a much better football team than the Jets, but like, it would not surprise me if the Jets go in there and beat them, because these are the types of games that Carson Wentz loses and the Colts lose. There's got to be a huge letdown after losing that game to the Titans. Has to be. All right, Cleveland at Cincy. This is a huge game in this division. Cincinnati just lost a game in which they shouldn't have. Cleveland, even with a banged-up Baker Mayfield, the rest of that roster is completely stacked, so it's going to be a competitive football game. Nick Chubb is back. The Bengals could not stop Mike White last week, but Baker Mayfield is not throwing for 400 yards. Even if he wasn't hurt, he's not that type of quarterback, so I'm going to have to go with the Bengals on this one. And it's in Cincy, which is not a big deal. Cleveland and Cincy is just top of the state to the bottom of the state. Who cares? Denver at Dallas. That's an easy one. Dallas, come on. Dak should be back. That's an easy one. Houston at Miami. All right, this is a terrible football game, and I don't know who to pick. There are tickets to this football game for $13. You can go to a football game, a professional football game in Miami when the weather is still going to be good for $13 fucking dollars. If I lived in Miami, I'd just go to watch the other team, even though it's Houston. But yo, what you guys want to do? I don't know, it's Sunday. We can go to the fucking Dolphins game. Yeah, let's go for a quarter or something. Like, it's like going and getting a drink at a bar. So I would totally go to check out the game. Like, who cares? You want to be able to go sit on the 50-yard line. Atlanta at New Orleans. Atlanta sucks and New Orleans doesn't. This is the type of game that Atlanta wins, though. No Calvin Ridley. All you have to do is triple team Kyle Pitts and you're going to beat Atlanta. So this might be the end of the Matty ice cream run. The ice cream might have finally melted in Atlanta. All these teams that got quarterbacks that are not the answer, I don't know where they're going to find the answer at, because there's not any in college right now. Archie Manning is still in high school. You got 3 years minimum, 4 years before he's even going to be eligible for the NFL. So I don't know what the answers are. So this is one of the reasons why they don't expand and add teams in the NFL. There aren't enough good quarterbacks, because if the product on the field isn't any good, nobody's going to buy tickets, merch. You're not going to get games on TV. You're not going to make money. So it's going to be hard to build a team. It's going to perpetually suck. So if there's really only like 8 franchise quarterbacks in the NFL, and there's probably not that many. There might be 5. Like franchise level quarterbacks. There's some young ones. Josh Allen, Herbert, Kyler Murray. There's 3 at least. Russell Wilson, Tom, Aaron. That's 6. I don't know if I'd put Derek Carr in there, even though I really like him. He's not that level of quarterback yet. So yeah, maybe 6. There might be another one in there I'm not really talking about. Just so if these teams that have been in the NFL forever have entire organizations and franchises built up, scouting departments, things of this nature, they can't find a competent starting quarterback. What makes you think a new team is going to? Now they should expand. Toronto should get a football team. There's no CFL anymore. They would love it. Chargers should move to Mexico. Fuck, what game were we on? Oh, Atlanta, New Orleans. All right, so Vegas at the Giants. The Raiders are playing well under their new coach. And Adrianism, somebody would, because there's just not that. There's a bunch of quarterbacks that suck in the NFL. Like the Giants would take Matty Ice Cream over top of Danny Dum Dum right now. Vegas is playing really well, and it seems after the John Gruden fiasco that they might be able to handle adversity, including a player from their locker room going to jail after vehicular homicide. Or manslaughter, excuse me. I don't want to get the legal terms wrong. And the Giants suck. So there's no reason that Vegas shouldn't win this game. Luckily for them, it's not in Vegas, so they can get away from all that and kind of just go play football, I guess. Unlucky for them, it's in New York, so the media market that you're entering is the biggest on the planet. So, I mean, a lot of questions that team and coaching staff is going to have to answer this week that have nothing to do with football. New England at Carolina. Let's go, Pats. Buffalo at Jacksonville. I don't even have to. Come on. Minnesota at Baltimore. Kirk Cousins sucks. But this is the type of game that they win. This Baltimore coming off of a bye week, they're not going to lose this game. Chargers at Philly. I don't know what's going on with the Chargers right now. They should win this game. I think they will. But they're not looking too good over the last couple weeks. Green Bay at Kansas City. Aaron Rodgers isn't playing. Who cares? Kansas City just got a gift. Arizona at San Francisco. I think the Cardinals should probably be pissed off after that performance this past week. What would have been the game of the week, and it's still going to be a good game, but no Derrick Henry. We will get to see Adrian Peterson back out there, but no Derrick Henry. Tennessee at the Rams. Got to go with the Rams. Yeah, Aiden knows I might go with San Francisco on that one because of that factor. I don't know. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. Jimmy G's healthy, they win. That's just the way it is. Tennessee at the Rams. I would go with the Rams even if Derrick Henry was healthy. I just don't know how do you stop them on defense now. They have the best corner in football, so he's erasing whoever he's covering. They have the best defensive player in the league by far in Aaron Donald. And then you just added fucking Von Miller, who's not injured. Like, they are going to the Super Bowl, and Matthew Stafford he's taking advantage of the opportunity that's in front of him right now. Because the last 3 weeks they played bad football teams and they've blown them all out. They are focused. They are like, we're going to the fucking Super Bowl. They are locked in right now. Even Super Bowl winning quality football teams can play down to their opponent, especially if you have 3 of them in a row. And they have done no such thing. They've just blown everybody out. Fuck them all. It's what the Patriots used to do when they were making, in their younger iterations. The whole Randy Moss era, they were literally putting up 60 on teams. Like, yeah, fuck you. We're blowing you out. You can't stop us. Doing press conferences, they're like, if you don't want us to score, then stop us. I don't care. We're not stopping because you can't stop us. There is no mercy. This is the NFL. Monday Night Football, Chicago at Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh gets another one. Bye weeks this week. Detroit, they need a break from football. Seattle, Russell Wilson, good for him. He'll be back probably next after the bye week then. Tampa on the bye week. Yeah, they kind of need it after losing that last game to a Trevor Siemian-led Saints team. The Bucs need health in the secondary above all things. Not help. They need health. And then the Red Wolves, and who cares? They suck. So, what am I going to deem this week's game of the week? Probably Cleveland at Cincy. Because Aaron Rodgers hurt, or has got the Roni, so Tennessee at Los Angeles is going to be good. But Cleveland at Cincy, there's a lot on the line in that one. Cleveland's 4-4. They stumble again. Now you have a losing record in a division where everyone else the other three teams have winning records and wins against you, which means that you're technically 2 games back in order to catch them in the standings. So, interesting. The trade deadline came and went without a win. I mean, it's the NFL. You don't trade players mid-season. It just doesn't really happen. It never really has. I don't know if it ever will. You'll see, the Browns may have tried to trade Odell, and there just was nobody willing to give up anything, knowing that if the Browns don't get a trade partner, then they'll just release him, and you can claim him off of waivers. So all you have to do is pay him and not technically give up any draft picks or assets in order to get him. And the same thing is with Deshaun Jackson in LA. He got released by the Rams, so somebody might pick him up. Well, somebody will pick him up. But he was unhappy with his playing time and his targets in the Rams offense because they're just loaded, and Cooper Kupp is balling. And Deshaun Jackson, I mean, come on, homie, you're in your mid-30s. Yes, you're still very fast, but you were never a route runner. So how many targets do you really expect when all you do is run go routes and quick slants and things of this nature? So that's about the only movement that ever happens in the NFL at the trade deadline, is teams releasing players that they couldn't get any trade for. Trust me, there's players on the trading block. It's just teams they know how it works. Why would you trade away assets unless you're trying to unload a contract on somebody if you could just pick them up on waivers? And honestly, if you're an NFL veteran, you're only on waivers for 24 hours. So technically, a team wouldn't even have to pick up any of his this year or next year contract. They can sign him as a free agent and make it a whole new deal. So you're not going to see any teams pick him up off of waivers. That'd be absolutely stupid. So as soon as the 24 hours is up, he'll get picked up by somebody. Or at least he'll be in for workouts. So you have to look at teams that would need a receiver that can just run in straight lines really fast. So, I mean, Green Bay always needs to add anything to help Aaron Rodgers. The Chiefs could use help. They have nobody but Cheetah and Kelsey right now. They always need help. And you really have to look at teams that have a logistic playoff shot and a title run in them that are willing to make another roster move like this. So that lowers the team pool down that would be even willing to take on Deshaun Jackson down to a very few. It's not like, like the Jaguars or the Texans are going to go grab Deshaun Jackson right now. There's no need for it. You don't want too much money, and you don't need it. Your teams suck. There's no point in giving up that much money when it's not going to help. If you're that terrible at football, winning doesn't help the franchise at all right now. You're going to hurt your draft positions, and it's going to give you a harder schedule next year. So, I mean, you don't really tank in the NFL, but it's not like, Houston and Miami and the Lions are like, we have to win right now. The Lions could go 0-17, and I don't know if Dan Campbell would lose his job. It's his first year. Now, there are rumors that he's blaming everything on the players, and they all hate him now. So he might not last more than a year. But if that's all false, then him going 0-17 is not going to hurt his career. You got to give him at least 2 years. And if they show some improvement, give him a third. If he shows enough improvement, give him another one. If he doesn't, get a new coach. So, all right, let's look up some team. Oh, it's 3:33 somewhere. The Bills are still leading the NFL in defense by a wide margin. The Cowboys are leading it in offense. Defense wins championships, and the Bills have a good enough offense to score with anybody. So, as far as the AFC side of football goes, I don't know. I don't know if anybody actually has. No, it is. Joe Judge is not going to be coaching next year. Gettleman, the GM, is going to be out. Nobody likes him in that organization anyway. So I would look for Louis Riddick to take the GM job for the Giants. It makes sense. So as far as playoffs go, with Derrick Henry being hurt, that really hurts the Titans a lot. I don't look at the Raiders as a Super Bowl team, so I don't take them serious. I really don't take the Ravens serious as a Super Bowl team because they just don't have enough on offense besides Lamar Jackson to actually win a Super Bowl. The Bengals, not this year, guys. The Steelers, by the end of the season, will probably fade out. The Chargers, I don't know. They got to show more than what they have. And then after that, so it really looks like it's the Bills conference. Now, on the opposite side, in the NFC, the playoffs are really going to matter. Cowboys, Packers, Cardinals, Bucks, Rams. All legitimate Super Bowl threats. There's 5 teams that are could actually win the Super Bowl. And then underneath of them, the Saints will make the playoffs, but that's not a Super Bowl worthy team. But there are legit 5 teams that could win the Super Bowl. So getting that first seed is going to be a big fucking deal in the NFC because there's only one team that gets a playoff bye. So that whoever that is, the whole any given Sunday factor doesn't count for you in the first week. You're automatically on to week 2. So then you're looking at Cardinals, Cowboys, Bucks, and Rams. Those 4 teams. And then, 2 wild card teams, I think. Cowboys, Bucks, Rams, and Cardinals are on a collision course. So, since there's 5 teams that are Super Bowl contenders, it's really going to be into seeding. It's really going to be into who has to play who in order to get to the next week. So, somehow, the Rams, right now they're 5th in the NFC, which is retarded. So if they're 5th, that means they're not going to get a bye. So the Rams are going to end up playing one of these wild card teams. They're going to blow them the fuck out. And since they're 5th, maybe if they don't get matched up against a wild card team, they might have to go on the road in the first week of the playoffs. I don't think it matters, though. They're absolutely loaded. Loaded. It's stupid. So, that's it for football this week. I don't like any other sports. Larry Bird, you did ask if I do watch boxing or UFC. I do not watch UFC. I do like boxing a lot. P got me into boxing. I watch every big fight without fail. Doesn't matter. I'm catching them all. So, I did hear that there are big title fights this weekend, both on the same day. It'd be cool if they were on the same ticket. Like if UFC and boxing had a championship together. Like some title, like an event together. But it's a different ring. So it'd kind of be hard to actually make that happen. Canelo? Oh, so yeah, I'm definitely watching that fight. Because that big, tall, skinny dude has been talking so much shit to Canelo. And it's just I don't know if this is the dude that you're supposed to talk shit to. I don't know if I would do that with this guy. So I look for Canelo to absolutely beat the snot out of this dude. You know, they always try to play up boxing to try to sell pay-per-views and whatnot. Canelo looked genuinely pissed off at this guy. Like, nah, bro, I'm actually upset at you. I'm going to fuck you up. The other boxer that I like watching right now, Tank, his fight got canceled because the other dude did something disciplinary. I think he tested positive for a banned substance or something stupid. So that fight actually got canceled. He was talking mad shit to Tank, and it was like, have you not seen Tank knock people out? I know it's boxing, you're supposed to talk shit, but I think if I was a top-level professional boxer, I would just be silent. I would never say a word. I would just stare at them like I'm a battle rapper. I would never react to anything they say. And then just go get busy. Like, you remember like when De La Hoya was at his peak? De La Hoya never really talked shit because he was like uppity, kind of. But he would still talk. I would be silent. I wouldn't say shit. I'd do nothing. I would go, if I do have to talk, I'd go the Manny Pacquiao route. I would do nothing but give my opponent credit. Just talk about how great of a fighter they are. Especially if I was Mayweather. If I was infinitely better than everyone else, I would just do things different. That whole just flashy money talking shit thing, every professional boxer's done that. Mike Tyson would have been if Cus D'Amato wouldn't have passed away so early in Tyson's career, then Tyson could have done that, because when Cus was controlling the Tyson narrative, it was all you do is knock people out. You go box and destroy people. You don't say nothing to nobody. You don't stay out of trouble. You just box. When Cus died what's that dude with the big hair, the big gray hair? The worst promoter in all of sports. This guy's pure evil. Who actually murdered somebody and did time for murder. Only in America. That guy. He took over the Tyson narrative, and it was all downhill. Yeah, Don King. Thank you, Adrianism. Don King took over. All of a sudden, he's dating Robin Givens, going to jail for rape, and just, being broke somehow. How you make like $300 million and you got no money? Only in America, huh, Don King? Yeah, Don King has an actual body under his belt. He didn't get away with it. So, shout out to everybody for coming through, man. I appreciate it. This is the first one where I went through the whole show solo, like solo. Not a big deal. I can keep doing it. I'm not going to stop doing Gray Matter because everybody else is busy. I'm going to keep on rocking. I am committed to the 333. So, good looking for coming through and listening to me talk about football and smoke blunts. I appreciate it. Vegas, Adianism, Flea, you guys are dope, man. I appreciate it. Of all the places in the world, Midget Mike, of all the places in the world that you could have been, Larry Bird, could have been anywhere, you were hanging out with me. I appreciate it, man. So, it's Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow night for Beat Boutique at 9 o'clock, everybody. So, yeah, I'm going to go hang out with the wolf.